is I almost said Monday. What the hell? Friday, May 20th, 2016. This is Radio Tokyo. I'm your host, Jonathan. And of course, again with me today is Nick. Again, I don't know why Nick's here, but he's here. I guess because Nick, um, probably because you're a special snowflake, and I guess without you, I probably would never get the dates right. I don't know. What do you think?
Well, I mean, you already screwed the show up so much. I mean, should we just restart the show? I don't know. But we're doing it live, so we'll do it live.
Yeah, fuck it, we'll do it live. I mean, it is a live show after all. So, I mean, what would be the point of it being a live show if we're not doing it live, right?
Yeah. I mean, that'd be like, the weird thing in Nevada where the convention's supposed to be live, but apparently it was all pre-planned.
I don't know.
Or the Democratic Party just decided what they wanted to do beforehand.
Oh, well, yeah. But, like, you know what? Speaking of the Democratic Party, I'm sorry, guys, but I'm losing the interest I've had in the Democratic Party, and it scares me. I mean, like, all this nonsense about Bernie supporters are violent. Well, when you try and suppress somebody, violence is eventually the end result of that. So I kind of understand the anger, but I personally don't know any Bernie supporters who are violent. I do know a lot of Democrats who are pissed off with their own party, almost as many who are pissed, almost as many Republicans who are angry at their party. Like it's kind of crazy. I mean, like I'm kind of wondering, are we even going to have these two parties after this election's over with? In fact, are we even going to have a country? Are we about to tear ourselves apart?
Well, I'm hoping we don't tear ourselves apart, because that would be not a fun experience for anyone. However, getting rid of these two parties would seem like a sensible thing to do.
Like right now, we could pretty much say, whose side are you on? And, everyone picked a side.
Or we make a new party, and then which would probably have the majority of the country with it. And then we could actually do things.
No. Like there's really no option here. It's you're going to have to pick a side, and each side hates one another, and there's tension in either side. So you're just going to have to pick which side has got the like the less tension, I guess.
Wait. So each side hates each other, but they also hate themselves. So basically, everyone hates everyone, and
Yes.
there's no free love anymore.
That's right. It's
Where is the free love?
Bernie has it all, and I think people have decided that he's somehow unelectable, even though, again, the man has held public office for 40 years.
Life is confusing.
It is, but you know what else is confusing?
What's that?
Apparently the sexuality of the majority of Texans.
What?
Yeah, the Texas Republican Party released their official platform today, and they have an item on there. Like one of the things that they have a stance on.
Okay.
It's item number 84, and it's homosexuality.
Okay.
Are you ready for this?
Sure.
Okay, I'm going to read this all the way through, and then you tell me what it says, okay?
Okay.
Homosexuality is a chosen behavior that is contrary to the fundamental, unchanging truths that has been ordained by God in the Bible, recognized by our nation's founders, and shared by the majority of Texans. Homosexuality must not be presented as an acceptable alternative lifestyle in public policy, nor should family be redefined to include homosexual couples. We oppose the granting of special legal entitlements or creation of special status for homosexual behavior, regardless of state of origin. We oppose any criminal or civil penalties against those who oppose homosexuality out of faith, conviction, or belief in traditional values.
So basically, they support discrimination against homosexual people.
Let me read the first sentence again. Homosexuality is a chosen behavior that is contrary to the fundamental unchanging truths that has been ordained by God in the Bible, recognized by our nation's founders, and shared by the majority of Texans.
I feel like they could have written that sentence better.
Do you know why it should be written better, Nick?
Do tell.
Because it's saying homosexuality is a chosen behavior that has been ordained by God, recognized by the nation's founders, and shared by the majority of Texans.
I did not know that homosexuality was so prevalent in Texas.
Apparently, this is the butt fucking capital of the world, I guess. Now, I'm sorry, Texas GOP, my own party here. You need to look at this and reword this, because the word has should be have, unchanging truths that have been ordained by God in the Bible, not has been, because the way it reads, it's saying homosexuality is the chosen behavior of about the majority of the state. Okay, I'm pretty sure that if the rest of this whole little bullet point here is bashing the gays and saying that you entirely oppose them and you're against, the sanctity of queerosexual marriage or whatever bullshit terminology we're using today to describe this, then you need to it's kind of like the woman who was in Target the other day with like 9 out of her 12 kids and was screaming that Target allows Satan to rape babies. Like, you don't do stupid shit like that. You don't say, I'm entirely against Target. Target allows children to be raped and everything. The bathrooms here are portals to hell, and then you're just walking to the store with your children. Like, the one Bible you have is not going to fucking protect you. I'm sorry. Like, this sentence is not going to protect you here. You've screwed up, okay? I think, actually, no, I think the correct phrase is, you done goofed.
It's pretty damn amusing. It's pretty amusing.
It really makes me sad. I mean, like, see, okay, here's the thing, and this is going to sound weird to say this. It's fine to hate the gays. I'm all in favor of you hating the gays. Whatever. I don't care. I don't agree with you, but I'm fine with you doing it because it's your quote-unquote religious beliefs. Whatever. I don't care. You have that right to hate somebody because of whatever reason you want to. Okay? This is America. Let's be realistic, and let's not be pussies about it. If you want to hate somebody, hate somebody. Again, I don't agree with you. I kind of support the Civil Rights Act of 1964 that says you can't discriminate against somebody, and I also support the 13th Amendment, the 14th Amendment, basically every piece of legislation that says don't be an asshole to somebody, because those are my beliefs. Don't be mean to people because they're different than you. I'm fine with that. So if you want to go on hating the gays, that's fine. I don't care. Just please learn to speak English. That way you're not insulting people.
Well, I'm not fine with people hating groups of people, because that's wrong. But I accept your right to hate people. And I will defend your right to hate people. But I still think you're an asshole. And would probably punch you if I met you. But that's just me.
See, really, that should be like the average person. Like, see, here's the thing. When I say that I'm fine with someone hating somebody, I don't mean by the like, oh, sure, go out and hate them. Go ahead. Like go ahead and light a cross on someone's front yard or lynch somebody. I'm not saying do that. Like when I say I'm fine with you doing it, it's like it's okay. You genuinely believe this this crazy shit. It's like again the woman in Target. She genuinely believes that Target is allowing it's allowing Satan to come rape children. That's fine. I believe that. You're wrong. You are unquestionably, unfathomably wrong. I couldn't even pronounce that word. You are wrong. Like there's no ifs ands or buts about it. Bitch, you're wrong. Okay, you're wrong. And like the wrongest part of it is bringing your 12 children in the store with you and then walking around saying, it's the devil in here! It's the devil! Okay, what's going to happen when Satan just grabs one of your kids and goes to raping them right there in the middle of the store? What are you going to do about it? What are you going to do? It's not like you can say, Jesus, come help me, because Jesus is going to be avoiding that place because it's all for the devil. Why would Jesus come help you? You are endangering the lives of your children. You're being a dumbass is what I'm getting at.
Yeah.
But see, oddly enough, even though I don't agree with this woman, like, I think she's entirely wrong, at the same time, I fully acknowledge she has the right to do stupid shit like this, okay? It's fine if you want to believe this, and I really, genuinely think she believes this. I really think that the Republican Party of Texas now thinks that the majority of people in the state are gay, okay? I believe this because they've said it, and that's fine. You have that right. But you know what? Here's, the counter argument to all of this. I've said before I'm a Republican. I've been threatening to switch parties because I no longer feel welcome in my own party. And the reason I'm saying stuff like that, is because society has fucking advanced. Okay, we have had this discussion about slaves. We've had this discussion about Native Americans. We've had this discussion about the Chinese, about the Irish. We have had this discussion about women being able to vote. We've had the discussion about the gays, and now we're having it about transgender individuals. And every time, yes, the Japanese, the Mexicans, let's see, who else? Anyone who is not fucking white, we have had this discussion about. It's not okay, for these people to intermingle with anyone else. That's fine. Whatever. If you want to say that, that's cool. I know you believe that. And your beliefs are protected by the Constitution. That's cool. Whatever, bro. Do you. Okay? But here's the thing. We've had this conversation before. And every time, we've come to the same answer. Oh, look. It's not okay to be an asshole to somebody else. So, let's not be assholes. And let's just get over it. Let's move the fuck on already. We have had 150 years of trying to settle the argument of the Civil War. 150 years. It took 100 years to end segregation after the war. And we're still having issues with it. Okay? Move the fuck on. It's time for society to advance, because every time this comes up, like I said, we do the right thing. So, come on, America. Let's just move forward in the future. Fuck off, I guess. I don't know.
This is why I kind of wish that Thaddeus Stevens and the radical Republicans back then kind of had their way a bit more, I guess.
Well, see, like, what's messed up about that is that Stevens said one of the most beautiful things I've ever heard in my life. And it was agreed upon by everybody, okay? I do not hold to the equality of all things, only the equality of all things before the law. Think about that shit. I don't, basically he's saying, okay, I had this dream the other night. I don't remember who I was talking to, but I was talking about that to somebody, and I was talking about Lincoln having spoken to the group of three black men and saying that we're different, and the differences are what are going to keep us apart. So you're better off going back to Africa, okay? Whenever that gets brought up, it's people saying, "Oh, look, Lincoln's a racist." No, think about what he's fucking saying. Think about what Stevens is saying, okay? Think just for like 5 seconds. 5, 4, 3, 2, 1. What they're saying is it's okay for someone to be different, but as long as you acknowledge the differences and you do nothing but acknowledge the differences, you need to be separate because you will never get along if you can't find common fucking ground to work on. Equality is what we're dealing with here. If you can't find equality with somebody else, there is no hope. Okay? So Lincoln saying, you and I are different, and as long as we're different, we deserve to be separated, is not him saying, I hate you because you're black. It's not saying you're less than I am. It's him saying, we need to fucking work together. If you're going to say, we're slaves, we're tired of being treated by slaves, we want to end slavery, and I'm saying, look, I'll do whatever I possibly can, just don't be an asshole to me about it, you're not going to come together on that, okay? Because if you're saying we're slaves, and I'm saying I'm not a slave master, not a slave owner, whatever, like, it's that difference. It's the fucking difference, okay? Okay? And that's why, like the idea of looking at someone who's black or Hispanic or whatever, or disabled, bad teeth, fat, thin, overly attractive, whatever stupid Paleolithic mindset bullshit you want to attach to someone and judge them. That's what is holding society back. And currently, it's pseudo-religious beliefs saying that, well, the Bible says this. The Bible gives me the right to hate somebody. Sure, the Bible does in the Old Testament. Okay? The Old Testament. There's a reason it's called old. It's outdated. You're not supposed to go by that anymore. Even the Jews, whose book that is, don't go by that book anymore. Okay? They've adapted to modern society. We don't stone people to death for being gay. We don't kill women who have been raped. We don't take adulterers out and slit their fucking throats. We don't, hurl rocks at you for working on the Sabbath. We don't do that shit anymore. The evil, Muslim people do that. They do that over in countries where they have Sharia law. So, I'm sorry, Christians of America who want to say stupid shit like this. Whatever you want to say, if that's really what you believe, then you're no better than the terrorists. And we don't let terrorists win in America. Hashtag make America great again. Get the fuck out of my country.
And just to be clear, we're telling the assholes to get out of the country.
Really, that's it. Leave the country. Just stop being like. I had someone earlier today tell me that it's my right to be offended because I'm an American. I'm like, oh, okay. What's that supposed to mean? Like, well, if you're offended, you need to leave. Why would I be the one that needs to leave? Think about that for a second. Okay, I'm offended because someone is saying some hateful shit, and it genuinely bothers me. So I need to leave the country. Oh, okay, and let you win. Sure. No, how about you leave? How about if you're so angry? Like, for example, this person, what started it, they were blaming Obama for the plane having gone down in the Mediterranean the other day. And they were writing it on Facebook. Plane, Plain. And they called Obama that Muslim bitch nigger. And they're like, he's the reason the planes have gone down. He's the reason every plane has gone down. So I guess, Amelia Earhart disappeared in like the 1920s because of Obama. Okay, that makes so much sense. I guess, you uneducated, ignorant jackass. No, Obama's not the reason for all this shit. Okay? Liberals aren't the reason for all this shit. It's you. It's you and your dumbass and your belief systems that cannot let you step out of the Stone Age. Okay? Now, I said it before. I'm going to say it again. I'm an atheist. I don't believe in God. Okay? But there are some Christians who I genuinely believe are better people than I am because they're not hateful sons of bitches who dislike other people because they're gay or because they're lesbian or because they're not white. They're not assholes to those people. Okay?
Like me.
You're kind of iffy. You know, you're a good person.
You shut your atheist mouth. That's
Look,
you.
look,
I hate you. I hate you.
Look, okay. You're a good person, but you're also Catholic. So you're kind of walking a line there. It's like if you would stop being Catholic, I'd have no problem with you. But because I know some of the stupid bullshit that's come out of your church, I just have this hard time understanding, you know, like why you're a member.
Wait,
I just don't get it.
how is our stupid bullshit any worse than the other stupid bullshit?
Your church has an official stance on the capybara, and that stance is that the capybara, which is a giant fucking water rat in South America, is actually a fish. So get on that.
But look at our Pope.
Yeah, look at the Pope. Yeah, he said some shit I don't agree with either, and I like the man. I like Francis. I would actually consider being Catholic for Francis, but he still said some shit I don't agree with.
See, but see, the nice thing is, you don't have to agree with everything. You don't, and you can still be our friends. You know.
But see, that makes you a bad Catholic.
Like that's how democracy is supposed to work. See,
but see, no, look.
Wait, you're supposed to be more conservative, and I'm supposed to be more liberal. And we're not supposed to like everything that the other person says. But at the end of the day, we're still supposed to be friends and get along. And have
But see, look, if I'm supposed to be conservative, then what the hell have I been talking about the entire time? I should be yelling at myself here. You know, because the idea of conservatism is that things don't change, or that's what it is now. I mean, it's not like we can't be fiscally conservative or financially conservative. Oh, no. We have to be socially conservative because things were better back in the olden days. Oh, you mean when kids died of tuberculosis? Sure, that's a good old day. How about when we had polio? Were things better back then? What about slavery? Slavery was awesome, wasn't it? Yeah, things were better back in the good old days. Fuck you.
Yeah, I don't know. The conservative arguments they've gotten really weird. Really weird. Really unbelievably weird. I don't know what's happening with the Republican Party anymore.
What's happening is we're going to have a civil war. A second one. Woohoo!
Why? We don't need to. There's no reason to.
No, look, really, I think we need to. I think we genuinely need to have a second one because I'm going to say, you know what? I'm not going to take a side. I'm going to sit back and I'm going to watch you crazy assholes fight it out. Okay? Like, it's fine. Go for it.
Accomplish? Literally,
okay, well, if we're talking about a civil war like among the Avengers, that only made them stronger, didn't it?
Well, maybe? That's a question. I don't know. Did they end up stronger? I mean...
Yes? No? Maybe? I don't know.
Well, we have more Avengers now. Sort of.
You have one more Avenger.
We have more unofficial Avengers.
Oh, no, wait. No. You have two. Oh, hey, by the way, just something I want to address real fast. Because, yes, we're going to talk about Civil War for a while here. I have a gripe about the movie.
What would that be?
It's one that I didn't particularly think about until I was watching a video like last night, and someone mentioned this, and I went back and thought about it.
I feel like you were looking for something to bitch about.
No, I really wasn't, because I love the movie. You know, really, this is my favorite Marvel movie. Like, it beats out Deadpool Can you believe that it actually made it?
It is the best superhero movie that they have
It
ever
really is.
done.
It really is. It really is. Like, this movie's
No,
actually better.
not just Marvel. It's the best superhero movie ever. It's the best superhero movie ever. I will say that.
It is, like, okay, ranking them, in order. This one is 1, and Dawn of Justice is 2. I will admit that I like it. I liked it that much more than I did Dawn of Justice. But my complaint is one of the number one things I was excited about in the movie.
Okay, what's that?
Spider-Man.
Okay, what about Spider-Man?
I got to thinking about this, especially after I heard this comment in this video. Why did Marvel reveal him in the trailer?
Because people have been asking about Spider-Man for a long time now.
It doesn't make any sense to do it now when you think about it for a second, does it?
I mean, Spider-Man is Marvel's biggest character. Whatever you think of Spider-Man, he is their biggest character. It's literally it's Spider-Man. He is their Batman, more or less. If you want to compare it to DC, Batman is DC's biggest character. Not necessarily the most powerful or necessarily the leader at any given point or time, but he is the most popular. So, for Marvel, it makes sense that, well, we got Spider-Man back, we want to show him off. So, I can understand why they would want to put him in the trailer.
Okay, let me pose this to you, okay? Spider-Man is the selling point of Civil War, correct?
One of them.
He's pretty much what makes the movie so awesome. Like, everyone has loved Spider-Man's being in there, right?
I think the movie itself is good enough on its own, but he definitely kicks it up a notch.
Yes, even though he is overwhelmingly shoehorned into the movie, Spider-Man's being part of that, of that fight is very important. Like, it's a huge moment for, like, the reveal, because Iron Man is like, okay, I've had enough of this, and he calls him in. That's amazing. It's wonderfully done. But first off, Hawkeye should have shot him at that point in time. He didn't. Whatever, it's fine. Anyway, my thing is, Marvel should not have announced that Spider-Man was going to be in this. Okay, they should have left the casting of Tom Holland silent. There should have been nothing said about it. No photographs, no him in the trailer, nothing. It's kind of like X-Men, the reason for X-Men having fucked up the movie for me, because they've already announced that Wolverine's in there. Wolverine is the number one selling character for X-Men, okay? People could have gone to see this and not known he was in there, and it would have been so much better because they would have told somebody. And then people would have been like, oh, I gotta go see what he does, because people don't want to spoil the movie. But, oh, look, there he is. He's in the movie, in the trailer. Who cares? It's kind of like Spider-Man being in this. Spider-Man is a selling point for this.
I would disagree with you here, just because I see. At first, I was just expecting Spider-Man to just kind of show up and do his thing, but I wasn't expecting just how much he was going to be in the fight scenes. I still wasn't expecting just how awesome he was going to be in the fight scenes. I mean, he literally just kicks people's ass, and it was amazing to see. It was a beautiful thing, even though I knew it was coming. I really didn't have a problem with it, because he still surprised me with just how good he was.
Well, see, that's my thing. That's my thing. It wouldn't have been more of a surprise had you not known it was happening, like the death of Han Solo. You know, even though I went in knowing it was going to happen, and it was really a visceral anticipation type. Like he's going to die. He's going to die. So when it gets to that point in time, you're like, oh shit, it's going to happen, and then it happens. My mom watched the movie. My mom watched Force Awakens, and she said, even though I already knew it, she said the same thing I just said. She knew he was going to die, but she still started crying when it happened. Okay,
Yeah.
she had heard ahead of time, and it really upset her to know about it. But she said she couldn't help but watch it. Okay, so it's like Spider-Man being in this. Sure, he's in there. Spider-Man's awesome. That actually made me more excited for the movie than I was beforehand because they did a excellent job of hiding him in every clip of the fight. Every clip, he was scrubbed the fuck out, along with Black Panther. If you didn't notice that, go back and look. They were both scrubbed, and
Yeah,
that
that's true.
and Ant-Man, which is fine. That's cool. Okay, but if they had just not had that clip of Spider-Man in there, it would have been to me, it would have been more exciting. But I did notice that Marvel kind of made up for that because they let Ant-Man become Giant Man, and that
Yeah.
was the most amazing thing in the world to me. Like, Spider-Man's awesome, but fucking Giant Man! Dude, look, this, like, no one said anything about Giant Man, it's all Spider-Man. So, like, they completely hid Ant-Man, both being Ant-Man and being Giant Man, and it was awesome.
It was it was like I kind of put it together when he said he was gonna be put it or do a distraction, and then you know he's like, I've only done this in my lab, and I was like, oh boy, is he gonna do it? And he just becomes giant, and it's so cool how all the characters react because they're just like, what in the world do we do? And he's just wreaking havoc, and it was just amazing to watch. It was beautifully done.
It was, and honestly, as much as I love Spider-Man, I love this version of I'm sorry, this is my favorite version of Spider-Man ever. As much as I love that,
Yeah,
I still like Giant Man a little bit more because it was a genuine surprise. Like, I sat up in my seat and cheered, and the people around me looked at me like I was out of my damn mind because Giant Man is on screen. You know, of all the
I mean,
things to expect out of a Marvel movie, I didn't expect Giant Man. And I was glad we got Giant Man, because I like Giant Man. I like Ant Man. And Paul Rudd has really, really, really completely owned that role. You know,
I like, I like Paul Rudd. I have always liked Paul Rudd, but my God, I did not expect him to be that good in a Marvel movie. I really didn't. I thought he would just kind of do a little bit of a shoe-in performance. You know how famous actors get when they do a superhero role. That's what I was
you mean like
expecting from
Christian
Paul Rudd.
Bale as Batman?
Or Halle Berry as Catwoman,
No,
or
no, no. We do not mention that movie on this show. That movie does not exist.
I'm sorry, John, but that movie exists.
You go give me
But
like 12 Hail Marys and like 9 All Fathers or whatever it is you
I,
people do.
I just might. I literally just might. But I mean, I was not expecting Paul Rudd to embrace the role like he did. It genuine seems like he loves doing Ant Man. I I I knew about Ant Man before. Ant Man's kind of a cool hero. I love Ant Man now. Paul Rudd has made me literally love Ant Man.
It's because Paul Rudd is lovable. I mean, like, I I really cannot think of anything he's been in that I dislike. I really can't. I actually watched. Well, I wanted to watch Role Models the other day because I was watching. Uh, I just forgot the name of the movie. The one with McLovin. I am so failing right now. Anyway,
Super bad.
yes, thank you. And it made me think of Role Models because that's one of my favorite movies of all time. Because Paul Rudd sells the movie, and he sells Ant-Man, and he was amazing in Civil War. And it, I don't know, like if the teaser for Spider-Man is the only negative thing I have about the movie, what does that say about it?
It says that it is one of the best made movies that I've ever seen. It genuinely is. It is by far the best superhero movie that I've ever seen. And I love my previous favorite was Spider-Man 2. Just because I thought that was a really great movie for the time and blah blah blah. However, there is so much here to love. Um, just they did everything so well. I mean, the setup for the fight, the build up with all the movies over the years, with the Captain America movies and the Avenger movies. Um, and it doesn't disappoint. It just doesn't, and in any way, shape, or form. The friendship of Bucky, and you can see Bucky's torment because he's worried that he will be used and that he will be a weapon again. Um, and he questions Steve on if this is really the right thing to do. And Steve's resolve to stand by his friend and to stand up for what he knows is right. And it even made me think, and this was actually an interesting point that I thought of. Marvel actually has a far darker world than DC does. And most people would argue against that, but um watching Civil War, I never really realized just how dark Marvel's world is. Because I want you to think about something. What functioning government in the Marvel Universe is not constantly trying to subvert mutants or superhumans or people with abilities into living weapons?
Um,
Like, what government in the Marvel Universe can you actually trust? Except for maybe
Wakanda?
Wakanda? Yeah, that's literally it. The only functional government in the Marvel Universe is a made up country in Africa.
What about the Soviet Union?
Nope, they're the reason we have the Winter Soldier. And lots of Hydra. You sure as hell can't trust the U.S. government with General what's his name? What's
Thunderbolt Ross.
yeah, with General Thunderbolt, you can't trust the U.S. government. The Hulk will tell you that. That's for damn sure. So I mean, it's really an interesting argument because um in any other in the DC universe, if you put Iron Man and Captain America in the same position, a lot of people would side with Iron Man because at least in the DC universe, the government tends to be at least functional. Um, sure, it's corrupt and people are using it and blah blah blah, but not at the sheer level and scale and uh of corruption that's in the Marvel universe. And it's really interesting because of the setting that they're in. Because Marvel's governments are so much more corrupt and so much darker than DC's that this sort of radicalized, privatized military, basically, which is the Avengers, that is out of the hands of the other governments, is actually necessary. Which, in our world, we would say is ridiculous, and that we would be completely behind Iron Man.
No, I'd be behind Cap.
Well, I mean, was there? Well, no, I shouldn't say that, because I would still be behind Cap, but we would be more.
You done
behind
goof.
Iron Man. Okay, I goofed, but we would be more behind Iron Man. We would be more sympathetic to Iron Man's opinion.
Only in a post 9/11 world.
Yeah. Which is
No,
what we live
no. Actually, in a post 9/11 world, I'm more inclined to side with Captain. So, fuck Iron Man, I guess.
Yeah, that's the general feeling of almost everyone.
By the way, Team Iron Man,
Because
your guy lost.
I'm not Team Iron Man. I'm Team Cap.
No. You're Team Iron Man.
No, I'm Team Cap. You just want me to be Team Iron Man.
Fine then. Fine then. Okay, you can be, how about this? Team Ian has a Costas.
No, because then you would hate me.
No, I would just hate Ian as a Costas.
Alright. Well, no, wait. But then everyone that likes WoW would hate me. I would not like that.
So you're saying you like Ian as a Costas?
But I like WoW, so that would mean I hate Ian Ascalphus. I can't even say his name right.
Okay, look. Okay, like, this has been coming for a while now. I think this shit didn't happen last week. Okay, well, the past couple weeks. Okay. How many times before have I mentioned my particular level of hatred for this man? At least on the show.
Many times.
Yeah, many times. Especially back when we were talking about some stuff from Legion. So, just to give some of you a little bit of background on Ian Hezekiah, to try and give you an idea of why I hate this man. He is the lead instance developer, like he's in charge of dungeons and raids and stuff. And he's been doing it since Wrath of the Lich King. And Nick and I pretty much both agree that Wrath of the Lich King was fucking amazing, instance and raid wise. So there's no complaints there. Ian, you did an amazing job with those dungeons, okay? But before
after that has been shit.
Yes, well, Ruby Sanctum. But I you know what? I'll skip that because everybody else did. Anyway, before Ian Hezekiah came to Blizzard, he was a fucking lawyer. He was a lawyer. Okay. The first thing Ian did as a dungeon designer at Blizzard was work on Trial of the Crusader. Nick, do you have any idea which fight he designed?
No? Did you tell
Faction
us?
Champions.
Oh, that one.
Yeah, that one.
The one that no one really likes to do.
That's right. The least entertaining and least enjoyable fight in the entire dungeon, or I'm sorry, raid, which was generally considered was considered a disappointment, even though it's kind of cool. Ian designed that shit. The only thing out of Wrath that Ian Hezekiah did that I like was he was the one who wrote Thorum's line, I remember you from the mountains. He wrote that, and that's cool. And then he went and fucked it all up again with Ice Crown Citadel because he wrote, "Suffer mortals, your pathetic magic betrays you." Ian Hezekiah is responsible for that shit. This man is the reason that I hate having the sound on during Syndragosa.
Your pathetic magic betrays you.
Yes.
Uh, I remember that. I remember
Of
that.
course you do. Because it's stuck in your head forever.
It is. It really is. And the pang of that fight, especially in hard mode, the pain of that fight, trying to manage heals, just
But yeah, Ian is responsible for that. He's responsible for that. Ian is responsible for all of the instance failures in Cataclysm. Ian is responsible for all of the instance failures in Mr. Pandaria. And
I
which
genuinely don't remember any instances from Cataclysm.
you know what?
I really don't remember any instances from Cataclysm.
Okay. The thing with Cataclysm is it was at this weird point in time where the dungeons didn't suck. The dungeons were amazing. It was the raids that by and large sucked. And sorry about that, I didn't mean to cough. Ian somehow managed to do that. Okay? Um so fast forward to Mr. Pandaria. Everything everyone hated about every raid and every dungeon there, Ian Hezekiah did that. Now we come to Warlords of Draenor, and here's where it gets interesting. Sure, he is still on the instance development team, but he is now lead designer on Warlords of Draenor. Ian Hazakostas is lead developer, whatever you want to call him, on Warlords of Draenor. Nick, why do you think I would be driving to that point and like mentioning that the most?
Because, I don't know, Warlords is just considered such a terrible expansion.
No, because fuck Ian Hazakostas. Now, I say this with all the respect and admiration possible. Ian, you have a difficult job. Okay? I acknowledge this. I certainly acknowledge I could not do what Ian Hazakostas does. Okay? And
Because you would still be better.
look, I'm actually trying not to pander to the man here, okay? But I probably would. Anyway, Ian, I'm sorry, bro, but just no. You need to stop, okay? First off, a couple weeks ago, there was some outcry about what's going to happen in Legion, okay? And there was a lot of forum posts about it. A lot of people were upset and everything. And Ian decided to step in on behalf of Blizzard. So when he steps in, he doesn't make his own blue post. He kind of hops in on one that was already made, and it was a short post, and his comment was like 6 paragraphs long, and there was nothing else said. Okay. Those of you at home, you can already see the first quote from this on screen. So I'm going to read this, and Nick, I want you to let me know what you think about this, okay? Actually, better yet, I'm going to read the first quote, and then I'm going to read the second, okay?
Okay.
And then we're going to go back and dissect them one by one, okay? First quote. I'd like to at least shed light on some of our goals and philosophies, and the core ways in which class order missions in Legion are going to be very different from garrison missions in Warlords. The mission system in Warlords was conceived as a core part of the garrison experience, and a self-contained progression that offered rewards that competed with other traditional content. That's quote number 1. Quote number 2.
That was a horrible idea.
Quote number 2. We approached Legion unsure whether there would even be any continuation of mission gameplay at all. We focused instead on the artifact and class order systems, creating traditional content to provide the experience of forming a band of the greatest champions of your class to combat the Legion, with an eye towards class identity and replayability. We want your journey through the Broken Isles to feel meaningfully different in at least a few key ways, depending on whether you are a mage, a warrior, a demon hunter, etc. So we're going to go back to the first quote. I'm going to read it one more time. Okay, I'm going to read one, just for clarification purposes here. I'd like to at least shed light on some of our goals and philosophies. Skipping ahead past this bullshit, past the first sentence and the second one. The mission system in Warlords was conceived as a core part of the Garrison experience and a self-contained progression that offered rewards that competed with other traditional content. Just like I did with the GOP thing, let me read to you the important thing here. I'd like to at least shed light on the mission system in Warlords. It was conceived as a core part of the experience of the game. Garrisons are intended to be the central fucking focus of Warlords of Draenor. It's intended to be central, okay? You're intended to go to your garrison. That way, it doesn't matter whether you're a raider, you're a PvPer, or what. You're intended to be able to go to your garrison and do all of this meaningless Facebook retention mechanic bullshit, okay? Garrisons were designed. What this is saying is that garrisons were designed so that the casual players would be able to be involved in the game. The casual players would be able to keep up with everyone else. The casual players could log on at 5 o'clock in the morning before they go to work, do a few garrison missions, get their mine, get their, their garden or whatever, and do their work orders, and then log the fuck out of the game. Okay? This was intended as a self-contained progression that offered rewards, and it competed with traditional content. Traditional content is being out in the world questing, it's doing dailies, it's doing like a dozen things, like whatever you can possibly imagine, like from, I don't know, vanilla through Mr. Pandaria. That's traditional content, okay? So garrisons are now traditional content. So let's go back to the second clip for a second here, and let's think about this. They approached Legion unsure whether there would be any continuation of mission gameplay at all. So they're thinking about Legion and saying, oh, okay, maybe we will not do the follower table. Maybe we won't even have a garrison. So we're going to focus instead on the artifact and class order systems, creating traditional content to provide the experience of forming a band. Okay, here's where they fuck up. They're forming a band of the greatest champions of your class to combat the Legion. That's what the Order Hall is, okay? That's what the Order Hall is. And the way the Order Hall functions, and if you don't believe me, you're perfectly welcome to check out videos from Heel versus Babyface or anybody else that shows this, okay? The way the game is being played right now on the beta servers, and initially on the alpha testing server, is you log in, you have an NPC that tells you that there's a problem in the Broken Isles, and you have to go help, and you fight a little instanced battle in the Broken Isles, and you retreat to Dalaran, and in Dalaran, you're sent back to the Broken Isles, and you do your artifact weapon, and then you establish your Order Hall, okay? And very quickly in your Order Hall, you recruit champions, okay? Champions. What does that sound like? That sounds like a follower. And how do you order around the champions. Oh, a table. A fucking table that you click in your order hall to send your champions around. And as a bonus, to help your champions, you get troops. So let's say you're a warlock, okay? You're a warlock. What you get is you get your champion to go fight for you, and then you get some troops. And the warlock troops are imps. So you get like 6 imps to go help your warlock champion. So you send them out in the world, and you do nothing. Okay? All of the quests that send you elsewhere in the game are dependent on your not follower missions. Okay? Dependent on it. The entire goddamn game in Legion will revolve around your order hall, at least in the opening portion of the game. Now, the way it's set up in the old world is genuine classic content type stuff where you're able to go out and quest. And the storylines, as I understand, are amazing. Especially Suramar. Suramar is apparently the single most engaging thing that Blizzard has done in World of Warcraft for a long time. Okay, so pretty much what Ian is saying is that Blizzard has removed the multiplayer aspect. Now, back during Mist Pandaria, well, late Mist Pandaria, and especially during Warlords, they essentially killed the need for guilds. Okay, around the time that Ian came into the game, the instance designer that he is, they came out with Looking for Group. Then they added Looking for Raid, and now they've designed these individual instances where you can go and you can do whatever the fuck you want to, and then log out of the game. All this instance content, whether it is the opening to Tanan Jungle, whether it is your garrison, whether it is a dungeon, or a raid, or a scenario, all of that shit was designed by Ian Hazzikostas. This man had his dingy little lawyer fingers in the game, and he's the reason that we have Looking for Group. He's the reason that guilds are dead or dying. He's the reason that raid groups have been reduced. Every unpopular decision with the player base has come from Ian fucking Hazzikostas. And this asshole last week had the gall to respond to the statements that were made during the developer chat, where they were on Twitch. And if you didn't see it, that's fine. But I do believe it is saved on their YouTube channel. So you can go watch this. They were supposed to go to talk about stuff that was going to happen in Legion. They really didn't. They kind of danced around it. And all it was, ha ha ha, we're completely ignoring the comment section that's being flooded, okay? Because like a week and a half, 2 weeks ago, Blizzard announced that they were going to meet with the people responsible for the Nostalria server, which we discussed on the show, okay? Ian Hazzikostas was the first one to come out and say that we are not meeting with them. We, as in Tom Chilton, Ian Hazzikostas, and people like that, the names that it was going to be lower down developers, okay? Like nameless, faceless employees of Blizzard Entertainment, not the big important people that should be having the meeting here, okay? So Nostalria was quieting it up. But around this point in time, there was the idea of legacy servers and a few other things that were mentioned. So take a wild guess what was brought up in the chat on the Twitch stream. Legacy servers. Like every other comment was legacy, legacy, legacy. Over and over and over and over and over. After it was done, people started complaining that Blizzard was once again not listening to their players. Once again, saying they're not listening. So Ian decided that he apparently was a big enough of a man to respond to this on his own. And to his credit, a lot of people had said, sure, this is the right thing to say. He says that Blizzard has done nothing but listen to their player base, and they have a difficult time trying to make the correct decisions because they don't want to offend anybody. They don't want to lose their player base, even though with Warlords of Draenor, they promised so much awesomeness that they got back every subscriber that they lost over the course of Mist Pandaria. The subscribers for World of Warcraft were almost back to numbers that they were during Wrath of the Lich King, because there was such an amazing expansion promised, and they failed. They failed miserably. So now they're promising amazing stuff out of Legion, and I'm kind of worried here, because every time I hear this man's name pop up, I deservedly get upset and worried, and I'm frightened, and yeah.
It's just like they keep moving, they keep trying to make the game easier, and that just keeps making the game worse. And they just don't seem to comprehend that.
They don't, and the reason I mentioned Nostalrius is important here. Okay, there was at least 100,000 people who played Nostalrius. Okay, that's that's about as much as you're going to find on any regular server. Okay, now I know we discussed this, and the idea of doing this is going to be limiting, and people are going to lose interest, and that's fine. I understand that. I don't exactly agree with that, but here's the thing. This would be 100,000 people who would come back to the game to play full-time for however long they wanted to play, just because you gave them a server that they were kept at a certain level. A content level.
It's not even capping at a certain level. It's just simply getting rid of looking for group and looking for raid. If they literally just did that, they would solve so many of their problems. Because looking for group and looking for raid gets rid of the need to look for people, or interact with people, or cooperate with people.
But see, that's okay. That's why Wrath of the Lich King was so amazing. Okay, sure, you had looking for group and it was fine, but you could also still have people who wanted to run shit with you, especially raids, because you had to group up to do a raid. That's fine, okay? But that is where they started to fail, okay? So now we're talking about the idea of legacy servers and everything else, and being completely ignored, but yet being told by this mealy-faced lawyer that Blizzard listens to the player base. No. If you listened to your player base, even in a game that is 12 years old, if you listened to your player base, you would not have lost 7 million plus subscribers in less than in 6 months. You wouldn't have had that happen. Okay? You wouldn't have had it happen. The argument since Burning Crusade going forward is they want their game to be more accessible. That's why in BC they introduced heroic dungeons, so you could get gear that was equivalent to raids. That way you could skip stuff like Karazhan and Magtheridon's Lair and so on. Okay, that's why they added in scenarios in Mist Pandaria. That's why they added in looking for group and looking for raid and all that shit, because they wanted all this content that they worked so hard on to be seen by the average player base. It's because in vanilla, it was so difficult. Like, maybe 4% of the total player population ever got to see the inside of Naxxramas. 4%. That's not a whole lot of people. You know, when we're talking about upwards of 10 million, that's not a lot of people, okay? And oddly enough, I'm fine with that, okay? I'm fine with there being, you know, between 1 and 3 Scarab Lords per server. I'm fine with that. I'm fine with there being, like 29, 30 people, whatever it is, on a server that were going to be, 25 people on a server that were going to be Conqueror of Naxxramas. I'm fine with that. I don't care. Those people busted their ass to get that, okay? So now, you know, fast forward a few years, and we have where if you have 50,000 gold, you can get a Mythic, which is the hardest difficulty in the game, kill of the final boss, get you a mount, get you a title, and get you some gear. No, that's not how the game should work. We need to move away from that idea. And I'm sorry, Ian, but I'm joining everyone else who is threatening to quit playing World of Warcraft if Legion turns out to be exactly like Warlords. If this is a failure and it has to be admitted to be one, I will quit playing. I will quit playing. I'm sorry.
I mean,
I'm just at that point.
As you know, I've not been playing for the past couple months, and it's just I will do the questing experience for Legion, just because I think the questing will be fun. I think I'll enjoy the questing. But if the rating in endgame is the same as it has been in Warlords, I'm gonna cancel my subscription when I'm done. Wait for the next patch, see what that is, and cancel again. There's no reason to keep playing. There isn't.
There's not. There really isn't. Because, I'm sorry, this man has fucked everything up.
Yeah.
I guess what I'm saying is, fuck you, Ian Hazacostas.
That's our pretty much. I guess that's our depressing ending for the show then.
Yep. Fuck you, Ian Hazacostas.
I'd say that's good enough.
Fuck you, Ian Hazacostas.
Well, yeah.
I'm kind of tempted to make that be the title of the show, but I probably won't. But, you know, whatever.
Maybe. Maybe not.
But yeah.
Let's see.
That's it for today. We're ending on fuck you, Ian Hazacostas.
Yeah.
You, like, I'm sorry. All these years, people have wondered, what's going to be the WoW killer? It's Ian Hazacostas.
We've always said that the only thing that can kill WoW is WoW itself.
Yeah. Ian Hazacostas.
Yeah. He decided he wanted to kill WoW. And he's done a pretty damn good job of it.
He has. He really, really has. And that should not be a thing. But it is. But yeah, we're going to end here, I think, because this is already depressing enough.
Yeah, it's pretty sad.
So, I guess have a good weekend, and talk to all of you Mondays. Please remember to like this video, comment on it, share it, subscribe to the channel, like us on Facebook, and fuck you, Ian Hazacostas.
Goodbye, everyone. Have a good weekend.
Nick, you missed your opportunity to say it.
Say what?
Fuck you, Ian Hazacostas.
Fine. Fuck you, Ian Hazacostas.
Yay! Bye, everybody.